Breaking: King Charles just confronted Starmer in the House of Commons, leaving every MP in stunned silence. The Prime Minister went pale, ministers fled the chamber, and what happened in the next 60 seconds could topple the government tonight. A senior Tory called it the most devastating moment in modern parliamentary history. Palace sources revealed Charles spent the previous night rehearsing his words, fully aware this confrontation could redefine the monarchy's role. 3 hours ago, at exactly 2:47 p.m., the king made an unprecedented appearance at Prime Minister's questions, not for ceremony, but to confront Starmer directly. His message was unflinching: Prime Minister, the British people deserve answers about the migration figures you've been hiding. Starmer wasn't prepared. The king remained standing, arms crossed, waiting for a response, and the chamber fell utterly silent. Conservative MPs described the tension as suffocating. One backbencher said you could hear people's breathing, while another saw Starmer's chief of staff, Sue Gray, frantically texting from the gallery, her face ghostly white. This was not ordinary politics. This was a constitutional earthquake unfolding live on parliamentary television. Charles arrived holding documents, real, official Home Office statistics that Starmer's government had attempted to bury. He raised them high for the entire Commons to see, his voice steady but icy. These figures show 1.2 million illegal channel crossings suppressed from the public record over the past 18 months. Starmer tried to interrupt. Charles raised a hand. "I'm not finished, Prime Minister." The rebuke rang through Westminster like a gunshot. MPs with decades of experience later admitted they had never witnessed anything like it. Former Speaker John Bercow, watching from home, tweeted within minutes, "In 33 years observing Parliament, I have never seen a monarch exercise such direct authority." History was unfolding in real time. Starmer's face drained of color, his hands gripping the dispatch box until his knuckles turned white. Labour backbenchers stared at the floor, some reportedly close to tears, while Conservative MPs erupted in cheers so loud the Speaker called for order 3 times. But the king was not performing theatrics. Producing a second document, a leaked memo from Number 10, signed by Starmer's Chief of Staff Sue Gray and dated just 6 days ago, he revealed explicit instructions to Home Office officials to delay publication of irregular migration statistics until after the next election cycle. The smoking gun, evidence of a deliberate cover-up at the highest levels of government. "Mr. Starmer," the king said, his voice calm but cutting, "I took an oath to this nation to protect its people and its democracy. When a government hides the truth from those it serves, that oath demands I speak." The authority in his words left no room for debate. This was not a monarch requesting, but one exercising power dormant for generations. Conservative MP Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg later told reporters, "His Majesty reminded us that the crown isn't just ceremonial. It is the final guardian of British accountability." Even historically critical voices took note. Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey admitted on Sky News, "I never thought I'd say this, but the king just defended democracy better than any politician has in years." The optics were devastating for Labour. A visibly shaken Starmer mumbled something about reviewing procedures and standard protocols, but no one was listening. The damage was done. Television cameras captured the exact moment he realized control had slipped, his eyes darting around the chamber like a trapped animal searching for an exit that didn't exist. Meanwhile, public outrage intensified over disparities. British veterans, who had fought and bled for their country, faced months-long delays for healthcare appointments, while undocumented migrants reportedly received immediate treatment, fueling the sense of a government failing its own citizens. James Patterson, a 72-year-old war veteran from Portsmouth, waited 9 agonizing months for a hip replacement, months of relentless pain, confined to 4 walls with only a walking stick for mobility. When his surgery was finally scheduled, it was cancelled twice due to hospital resource shortages. Meanwhile, just down the corridor, newly arrived migrants received full health screenings, dental care, and elective procedures within weeks. "I gave 3 years of my life to the Royal Navy," James said in an interview that has gone viral with 3.8 million views. "I watched mates die for this country, and now I can't even get treatment while people who just showed up yesterday get everything handed to them." His fury mirrors the growing outrage across Britain. His daughter, Susan Patterson, revealed to ITV News that her father now relies on 4 different pain medications daily just to function. "He cries at night," she said, a man who survived combat in the South Atlantic weeping because his own country failed him. That clip alone has been shared over 600,000 times. As working-class families struggle to heat their homes this winter, facing tripled energy bills, Starmer's government has allocated £8 billion to house and support illegal migrants in 4-star hotels, complete with heated pools, full meal service, private security, and entertainment systems. The Britannia in Manchester, Park Plaza in Leeds, and Crown Plaza in Birmingham have all been converted into migrant accommodation centers offering amenities most ordinary citizens can't even afford. We're talking about families who've paid taxes for 30, 40, even 50 years, unable to afford a weekend break, while newcomers who contributed nothing enjoy luxury at taxpayer expense. The contrast is so stark, so fundamentally wrong, that even lifelong Labour supporters are walking away in disgust. Margaret Coleman, a devoted Labour voter from Leeds, held up her energy bill on camera, £347 this month alone. "I'm wearing 2 jumpers indoors. I eat 1 meal a day to save money. And Starmer is putting strangers in luxury hotels on my tax," she said, her voice breaking. "This isn't the Britain I fought to build." In Newcastle, 79-year-old pensioner Arthur Williams told reporters he must choose between heating and eating this winter. "I worked in the coal mines for 46 years. I built this country, and now I'm freezing, while Starmer rolls out the red carpet for people who don't belong here." These aren't isolated stories, they reflect millions of Britons watching their nation transform into something unrecognizable. Then, something unprecedented occurred. King Charles didn't just speak and leave Parliament. He remained for the entire session. For 2 hours and 17 minutes, the King observed every exchange, every debate, every desperate attempt by Labour ministers to deflect or dodge. MPs described the atmosphere as surreal. "You could feel his presence in every word spoken," said Conservative MP Sala Braverman. "Every time a Labour minister tried to spin or evade, their eyes flicked toward where the King sat. They knew they were being watched, judged." At 4:32 p.m., during a particularly heated exchange on immigration enforcement, Charles rose once more. The Commons fell utterly silent. "I have heard enough empty promises," he declared, his voice cutting through the tension like steel. "The British people have heard enough excuses. What they need now is action, accountability, and truth." He fixed Starmer with a steely gaze. "Prime Minister, you have 72 hours to release the full migration data to the public, unredacted and complete. If you refuse, I will be forced to consider options that no modern monarch has had to contemplate." The threat crackled in the chamber like electricity. Palace sources later told The Telegraph that Charles had consulted constitutional lawyers about invoking the royal prerogative to dissolve Parliament, a power in use since 1834, the nuclear option. Senior constitutional expert Professor Vernon Bogdanov described it as the most dramatic assertion of royal authority since the 1911 crisis. The immediate impact was swift and severe. Within 30 minutes of the confrontation, the pound sterling fell 2.3% against the dollar, erasing £4.7 billion from the FTSE 100 in a single trading hour, as international investors suddenly questioned Britain's stability. Goldman Sachs issued an emergency briefing, warning of unprecedented political volatility in the UK market, while currency traders in London, New York, and Tokyo scrambled to adjust positions. Politically, fractures deepened. At 5:15 p.m., Home Secretary Yet Cooper held an emergency press conference, her hands visibly shaking. She refused to confirm or deny the King's allegations, claiming only that procedures were under review. Reporters shouted questions, all ignored, and she fled after just 90 seconds. Political journalist Robert Peston tweeted, "In 25 years covering Westminster, I've never seen a cabinet minister look so terrified." By 6 p.m., 3 Labour MPs had resigned the whip in protest. Sarah Champion released a statement directly attacking Starmer. "I cannot remain in a party that lies to the British people about matters of national importance." Kim Leadbeater and Rosie Darfield followed within the hour. Within hours, #King Charles was right was trending globally with 2.1 million tweets. Protests erupted outside Downing Street by 7 p.m., thousands holding Union Jacks and signs reading, "The King speaks truth, Starmer must go," forcing police to form barriers. By nightfall, the crowd had swelled to over 8,000, the largest spontaneous protest at number 10 since the Iraq War demonstrations. Inside Westminster, chaos erupted. According to multiple senior sources, an emergency Labour cabinet meeting descended into what one minister called a bloodbath. At 8:23 p.m., ministers packed into the cabinet room. Starmer attempted to calm nerves and Project Unity, but instead faced open rebellion. Chancellor Rachel Reeves allegedly slammed her folder on the table, demanding, "Did you really suppress migration data? Because if you did, we're finished." Deputy Leader Angela Rayner reportedly sat in stony silence, taking notes and calculating her next move, while Shadow Health Secretary Wes Streeting was overheard saying, "This is worse than anything the Tories ever did." At least they were honest about being dishonest. WhatsApp groups titled Save Labour quickly became battlegrounds, with screenshots showing members openly discussing leadership challenges. One message read, "72 hours until he's gone. Start preparing." Another stated simply, "Angela's ready." At 9:47 p.m., The Times broke another story, leaked Home Office documents showing Starmer personally approved the suppression strategy, his signature on memos and handwritten notes instructing delays until after the elections. If authentic, these documents indicate Starmer didn't just hide data, he orchestrated a systematic cover-up designed to mislead voters. Constitutional experts are already debating whether this provides grounds for removal via a confidence vote, while legal analysts warn Starmer could face criminal investigation for misconduct in public office, carrying a maximum sentence of 10 years. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage moved decisively. Speaking to a packed rally in Birmingham, he praised the King for speaking truth when politicians would not. No personal attacks, no cheap shots, just firm support for the monarchy and British values. He announced emergency candidate selections in 47 Labour-held constituencies. "We're preparing for an election," he declared, "because this government won't last the month." The polls reflected the shock. A Snap YouGov survey showed Labour collapsing from 41% to 31% in just 3 hours, Conservatives steady at 28%, and Reform UK surging to 26%. The next 72 hours would define Britain's future. Starmer faces a deadline imposed by the King himself, Labour MPs plot his removal, and international allies watch in disbelief. One question looms over everything: what will King Charles do if Starmer refuses? Britain is witnessing its government unravel in real time. History may remember today as the moment a king defended truth, while a prime minister chose lies, and that choice may cost Starmer everything. The questions remain: can Starmer survive the next 72 hours, or is his government finished? Will King Charles actually dissolve Parliament if the figures aren't released? And is Nigel Farage poised to seize the premiership? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And if this constitutional crisis stunned you, pass this on to anyone who needs to see what's unfolding at Westminster right now. While much of the mainstream media looks the other way, we're laying out the facts. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because tomorrow we reveal what those leaked documents actually contain, and it's far more serious than most realize. What they point to goes beyond delayed figures, exposing a pattern of decisions, ignored warnings, and senior officials being overruled in the name of political survival. Sources say a full release would show how deeply this suppression ran, who approved it at each stage, and how close the government came to crossing the line from narrative control into outright deception. If that information becomes public, there may be no return. Careers could end, alliances could fracture, and Britain's political landscape could be reshaped overnight. Stay with us, because the next 24 hours may determine whether this government endures or collapses entirely.